welcome to another episode of On the Scene with Marbra Foster, the executive producer. I am your guest host, She Bananas, also known as Chiqueta Banana. Right next to me, to my left, I got the infamous, model, actress, host, writer, man, humanitarian. You are a woman of many hats. So we're going to talk about all that. Miss Brit Scales.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very grateful. I appreciate you.
Thank you for coming. Welcome. How you feeling today?
Theater, acting, film, and that's where I'm at right now. I am pursuing film in every way. I've been writing. I'm very shy with my writing, but my mentors are like, girl, please, we're going to cut that out. It's time to get something produced ASAP. And then on the acting side, I've just been dabbling in a little bit of everything, but hopefully focusing soon more on TV and film.
Like I say, woman of many hats. Mahogany Monet. Who is she? We got Brit Scales.
Yeah.
Tell me Mahogany Monet. What is that?
Mahogany Monet was a stage. It actually started off as a nickname because my mom would make fun of me. I was addicted to Mahogany. I was addicted to Diana Ross. She was just absolutely fabulous. I love that film. There were a couple scenes my mom had fast forward through as a kid. So seeing it back later, I was like, oh my gosh. But that nickname came about, and then Monet is my middle name. So it became my stage name, and it was something I noticed that a lot of people grab.
You say rock a lot. You got on a kind of like a rock jacket. Your dad was into rock and roll. Tell us a little bit about your dad.
I have to keep it brief because it's so funny that he is so, I'm not going to say adverse to it, but he is very shy, I'll say it like that, about being spoken about. But my father was a part of an incredible group in the 90s called the Out Here Brothers. Came out with New New and Boom Boom Boom, Everybody Say Away. And he just was a part of that dance music and that culture that really cultivated through the city. And whether he realizes it or not, it's just an incredible piece of Chicago history is within him. And I absolutely love him. I love teasing him too about that too, that he's so shy because he's a Leo. I'm like, how are you shy? You a Leo?
Most Leos are shy though.
Get out of
the
here.
Leo, I was married to one, yeah. That most male Leos are very, very shy.
That's good to know.
Shout out to Dad for
big ups to Daddy.
turning you into a rock star. We're gonna talk a little bit. I found out something about one of your favorite rock bands too.
Oh no!
I happen to know that. So now you started film and theater young, right? So when did you really decide, you know what? Acting, that's my it. And that's what I wanna do because there's theater.
I was 18 years old, and prior to that, I had only done modeling with Ernest Collins. May he rest in peace. Love you so much. He was just the greatest mentor outside of my godfather, Chris Curse. They were like best friends, and they really had groomed me in the modeling side of things, and really gave me my first ever opportunities. Like Chris is like my second father, and I'd always loved theater, but I was really focused on business and business law. At the time, I can argue with the best of them. So that is what I was focused on. But I noticed that I am very emotionally charged. And while I think that can be a great thing, I think it can also be something that can hurt you in law and business. But I noticed that it was something that was celebrated in film, and you could still make a great impact. And so when I got my first opportunity to act, I just jumped on it. I did cry at my first audition because it just didn't feel good. Like, you leave out, you're just like, oh my God.
Do you remember your first audition? What was it that made you cry?
The fact that when I was in there, and then I finished, nobody said anything. It was dead quiet, and it was like I wasn't expecting like 6 people in the room. I was expecting maybe 1 or 2. It was like 6 people at a table looking at me, and so they were dead quiet, like completely quiet. And I was like, okay, well, thank you so much. Nobody said it. Like you could hear a pin drop, and my heart and soul drop. I was like, oh my God, okay. So I went out. I cried in the car. And literally 3 seconds later got the call that I had the role. Not the role that I went in for the mother. and then I got the young girl Ariel. So I was just like, oh, wow, okay. It was like we just couldn't say anything because it was so good, and I was like, oh, thank God.
That's what I was thinking. Usually when in acting, when it's so good, you leave them speechless. It's like,
And it didn't feel that
jaw
good,
dropping.
but I'm grateful that they appreciated it. I'm always very critical.
Well, I'm glad you're here, honey.
Yes.
So speaking about that first role, are we speaking the film Black Butterfly?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
where you played the role of Ariel Sims.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the film. And well, first I want to say one thing that I noticed about you is a lot of the film that you do play in, there's a powerful message in the film. So I want to commend you on that. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But this film in particular talks about police abuse of police authority, as well as rape. So tell me about how did you get into the mindset of Ariel?
Getting into the mindset of Ariel wasn't that difficult because I feel like we as women, we go through so much that is unspoken that it resides in us each a little bit. And then all of our mothers, our friends, our family have gone through something in that nature. But then, to his credit, I will say that Mark Harris really wrote a very beautiful script to connect with. I went in for the role of the mom because played by my girl, and she did an incredible job. It was such a powerful monologue in the film, her speaking about working with these children, and then the overlay of not even knowing her child had been through it. It really spoke to me. And then at the time I thought I looked much older than I did, I guess. So, but it was it was very easy to get into because of how well the script was written.
Okay, and then next you went on to do Hood.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
With New York's undercover, what is his name?
Malik
Yoba.
Yes.
How was that?
So, in all honesty, I never shot with Malik. We
What?
were in completely different scenes.
Okay.
But from what I heard, it was absolutely incredible to be on set with him. He just brought everybody up to a level with his acting that they didn't even anticipate. They were very grateful to have him. But again, you know, I definitely thank Matt Singletary for bringing me on. And just the whole Michael Lansu for bringing me in, the director Rebecca. They had an incredible cast crew. Again, the one thing I love about independent films is you really get a sense of family. And again, it was a great script. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, now we're at Inglewood, the Chicago story.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me about. Now that one is powerful because them your roots. You know, you come from Inglewood, so I know it wasn't that hard tapping off into it. But tell me about the cast. How was it working with the cast, and you know, just falling into character? How did y'all deal with conflict, or you know, falling into the roles of actual people? Because it was a lot. It was a lot in there.
Oh yeah, there were so many layers that I don't even think Will, the writer, Will Cochran at the time realized that were there. And then my girl Rhea and my other girl who was producing, Toya, they really brought more to the film than unfortunately they were given credit for. I hope Will doesn't take that offensively, but I have to keep it real. They were able to edit, and it's just something about a team of women coming together. They just that sauce, you know.
The
They
vision
added.
is different.
And I don't think, while Will had the passion, he didn't have the ability to really execute it the way that those two ladies came through. Like, they went from acting to behind the scenes, and there were so many things that they were double-handed in. It did go off seamless. Even though so many things, you know, with independent films could go wrong, I felt like they really came through, and I give them so much love because they kept that family vibe on set, and everything really flowing professionally.
I'm glad you brought that up because I talk about that often. A lot of upcoming actors may not know. You know, some people just funny. Oh, you should be in this and you should be in that, but they don't understand that when you are in acting, you need to be able to have versatility, meaning like they did, be able to jump in and say, hey, can I assist you with this? Hey, can I assist you with that? Is that how you got into producing?
That is how I was able to get into producing. Again, I had a opportunity with Will a second time. I think it also had an incredible message about making sure you know who is in your corner and making sure you know that it's okay to go out on a limb for your dream. Because there's nothing worse than staying stagnant anyway. You might as well go out. If you fall behind, you'll probably end up exactly where you were standing still. So getting out there, and I love the way Rail, delivered. He just had everybody on. It was hard to get a cut out of the art director because he was laughing the whole time. Like, Rail is that funny, and I don't think people give him credit for how diligent he had been working so long up until that point. And to have the opportunity to work with him, with Corey, with everybody on set was just amazing. And I really appreciated, again, the professionalism from production on that particular. It was like the first film where the quality was just, and no offense to the other films, because I, again, love the scripts, love the people, but the quality, and I really hope independent filmmakers take that to heart. It matters. I don't care how long it take your film. Most great films take 10 years anyway. So why don't you just take the time, since you don't have the money, to make it absolutely amazing instead of trying to rush it and then something falls off. So I definitely appreciated Grown Child Pictures for bringing that.
Everybody in a rush nowadays.
Ooh,
like,
Lord.
It's everybody, and it's because it's competition. Like, I need to show that I'm better, or I can, I can.
I blame music. Look, I love Drake, but Drake got like 100 million songs out. But we really only like maybe 12 of the songs, you know what I'm saying? Well, back in the day, Marvin Gaye could put out one song,
and you gonna play it for
the rest of your life.
Until you crawl over.
Yeah.
That's my favorite slogan. Don't nobody know good music like I know good music. And you done brought up one of the greatest. He will come with the instruments and everything. But we're not gonna
And
go
the soul,
off into
yeah.
that. The soulful part. We're gonna talk about Brit, Mahogany, Monet, Scales. That's what we're going to talk about. Now, we've talked about the film. Oh, what about that? We missed out a couple. Wait, hold on. I missed a couple. I'm going to go back to my cue cards. Happy Hour.
Happy Hour.
Let's talk about Happy Hour.
Happy Hour, again, we did touch on that one. That was the one that I was able to produce. I thought Don did an incredible job. My girl Ari came through. So many people, let me tell you, so many people came through. It's ridiculous. My girl Santana showed up literally for a role that was 2 minutes long. She stayed the whole day, did hair, makeup. My girl showed out, and again, just able to have that family connection. My girl Rhea, who was also in Inglewood, also was co-producer on that. Who started off as just a script advisor because I needed Will to have that direction again. And since they had worked together prior, I was hoping that their energy, which it was, they had great chemistry, great professional energy to work together, that I felt like I was missing communication with him. And a lot of the times, some people feel a certain way when things don't go right. They're like, oh, I'm going to just give up. I just want everybody to know I did not just give up on that film. I brought in as many people as I could possibly bring in to help ease the situation and have conflict resolution. At the end of the day, it was a situation I felt so that I could remain in a good relationship space with certain people to walk away from it. But I 100% appreciate everybody who came out, and especially Ari. Ari put herself out there in incredible ways, and if you ever look for her, you'll see her acting in everything. Every commercial you turn on, you see my girl. So definitely appreciate her coming.
Level up.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're a networking queen too. I say you're known to put great people in great places to elevate them to even greater places. So salute you for that.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of them are already elevated. I just have the blessing of getting to know them.
Right.
And
they're elevated, but resources. Sometimes
True.
we need other people. Like
Yeah.
you say, on the set, y'all needed others resources.
Needed that cushion.
Yeah, you needed that backup plan,
Yes.
plan B and plan C, just in
Thank
case.
you, Brit. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
thanks for always being up to the par, child.
100%.
Okay. Now we talked about all the movies. You got a new film coming out. Oh, and I can't wait to see this one because let me ask: is it based on the true life, or is it partially factual?
No, there's no fiction whatsoever. The one thing that, so that is A Fire Within. It's a documentary. So a lot of my role is MOS, which is meter sound for those who do not know. And I took it on because when I was out in LA, Chris Chambers picked me up. I mean, I had been going on audition, and I had been getting shot down. And I am not complaining because the fact that I was able to have an agent, a manager getting out there within the first 2 months, my friends, some of them had been out there for years and weren't even going to the CBS station. So I wasn't expecting to get anything right away. But when I booked this, Chris didn't even know this was my first opportunity out in LA. And I just love the way he truly commits to quality, to a great story, and 100% truth. This is 100% the truth of these young women coming from Ethiopia who were refugees who had to encounter their capture pretending to be a refugee here in America. And he was evading, facing his charges.
Right.
So they were able to bring him to justice. And the way that Chris brings the story together, I am so grateful to be a part of it. I'm hoping a lot of people caught it at the Atlanta Film Festival. I think it was at Sundance and a couple others. But he is really trying to push it through the film festivals. So right now, I'm not sure if there is another viewing per se online, but at the next festival that comes out, everybody will be able to catch it. And I'm really hoping people connect with it because I think that's something we were really losing sight of right now, is like that natural affection for one another, that humanity matters, that taking care of people matters, and that bringing people to justice matters. So many people are so excited when somebody is are brought on charge. They're charged with something like this. This recent police officer is charged with something. But it's the convictions and it's the sentencing that also matters because it adds value to who we are. Like George Floyd, he deserves a sentence for that man. I don't have to say his name because his name doesn't matter. He needs to be in prison, like everybody else nameless. And he needs to face a quality sentence for what he did. At the end of the day, that 5 years, that 2 years, it's heartbreaking and it's disrespectful. It's a spit in the face because it's like, that's not even a charge. You know what I'm saying? You're already going to be taken care of by these other officers. The least you can do is uphold the very law that you put your word to. You broke it, and so your word is bond. Then you got to stand by the fact that you should serve your time.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And speaking of a fire within you, I learned that is what you just spoken is a passion of yours. You're very vocal with speaking out on injustices. So you have a cause right now that you are fighting for, and that is the Free Douglas Livingston petition.
Yeah.
You care to talk about that?
So that's not even my movement. It's not my movement. What it is a plea from my family to help my cousin, who is as innocent a victim as the person who passed in the situation, because he was wrongfully accused. When he went in before the judge, he listened to his lawyer who said, just go before a judge, don't have a jury. That hurt so many young black men, and the fact that he also sat in jail, not in prison, sat in jail. We're given a speedy trial. He did not have a speedy trial. It was 4.5 years he sat in jail before being sentenced for something that he didn't do. They didn't look at any of the evidence. His lawyer barely, defended him. And at the end of the day, it turned out that the lawyer had ties with the officer. So there's many different things that I hope that people go to the site, change.org, which is in my link. It's the only link I have up. Because right now it is very important. We're at 2,500 or so petitions, but signatures, I should say, in the petition. But that devastates me. I got 5,000 followers on Facebook. I got 5,000 family members. I have, friends that I went to school with at Columbia, U of I, who are doing incredible things, and yet they have not reshared or posted this. I'm not asking for nobody's money. I'm not even asking you to like me. I'm asking you to put human life before your own vanity, because while you can sit up there and post your selfie, this will be a very easy thing to do, to sign the petition and reshare for somebody who's innocent. So while I'm very hopeful that these numbers go up, because then that will help him to get a better reputation for his appeal, I'm highly disappointed right now.
Is there a certain number of signatures that he needs in order for his appeal to be
So right now we're at 2,500. My next goal is 10,000, but I want as many. It's 3 million people in this city alone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We should be petitioning. I sign a new petition on change.org as often as I can for other people who I look into, who I feel like this could change their life. And I don't understand why people don't do that. Like, as often as I am on Instagram, because I love to post certain things too, I'm also, reading into what's happening in our city, in our nation, reading in what's happening locally, checking out change.org, and I hope that people are taking that time to, it's not our privilege to be on this earth. It is an honor, so it's like we definitely should be making sure that we are respecting everybody's life and helping when somebody is wrongfully accused like that. So if that happens to us, we know somebody's going to have our back, just karmically coming full circle.
That was powerful. Thanks for sharing that. And moving forward, let's talk about policing. What are your thoughts on Chicago police?
I don't even know if we have the time. At the end of the day, it doesn't stop with Chicago police. I can't fault Chicago police, because it seems that all across America, all across this nation, right up in Palestine, there seems to be a disconnect between policing and overstepping your authority. There's a disconnect there, and that there's a lot of that overstepping the authority happening. And I get it to some extent. It's like they only can move so far, so how do they catch the bad guys?
Right.
But then where does that line cross where you have become the very thing you're chasing? So, we have to be very careful with that. I think at this stage, though, as far as Black community is concerned, I don't want reparations. I've said this before. When it comes to policing, the only thing I want is an all-Black police force only.
And you know
for us.
What's strange? Because we hear the word reparations all the time. Reparations, I believe, started in maybe your hometown, Evanston. It's either Evanston or
Close to,
Elgin.
yeah, that's close to me. Yeah.
One of the two.
Mhm.
This year, last year.
I think you're right. I think it's Elgin.
Elgin. And here's the thing: when you give reparations, will they change it?
I just feel like that sounds like another stimulus to me. It's
Right.
like everybody gonna go spend that on
We
the
want
long line at
money.
Louis Vuitton, at the Gucci store, at places that are not reinvesting into the community.
Mhm.
We're not even gonna go Bitcoin or whatever those people are hitting me in my DMs for.
Yes, that cryptocurrency, baby.
You know,
you
you're
don't
not
want me to
getting
talk about
property.
everything I talked about this week.
I'm just like, you're not even doing that, you're gonna respend it, me included. So it's like, that's not gonna be helpful. But what is gonna be helpful is if I can have a piece of the media to stop overutilizing these people's lives lost just for a buck and just for the viewings. And if I could just have Black police officers, or not even just Black, I'm not racist like that, but people who live in the community, who know the community, working in the community, period. Because when I stayed in Palatine and Long Grove, I knew those officers. They came to our school. They knew all of our names. They drove up and down the street and spoke to us. They had to get out and play games with us. So like growing up, I was never afraid of the police. But when I would come to Inglewood and see how they would treat my cousins, my uncles, walking down the street for no reason, pulling them over, it made me not fearful of them. I fear nobody but God, but it definitely made me despise inner city police, 100%.
You can't answer my next question. I was just about to ask you, have you ever been
Mm-hmm.
put in a position where you felt like the authorities were abusing their position?
Oh, 100%. My grandfather abuses his authority all the time, calling me at 7 a.m., 1 p.m. No, I'm just playing. I love my granddaddy. I have officers in my family, so that's a very touchy subject for me. Like when they brought up Blue Lives Matter, it was a slap in the face because nobody said they didn't matter. I 100% didn't say that. I would never want something to happen to my Uncle Norman. Like, I don't care how estranged I get from my family, this and that. My family is in my heartbeat. And I appreciate them upholding the law. I appreciate them putting their lives on the line. And I appreciate them respecting the community that they work in. So I hope that we can just have that more full circle. That's my word today, full circle.
Full circle, yes. Yeah, I mean, that's that humanitarian in you. You just want to give off good energy, good vibes, and good knowledge.
Sometimes I'm quick to cut you, so let's just be honest about that.
Speaking of quick to cut, President Trump.
Yeah.
You were quick to cut him quite a few times on your Twitter.
Yeah.
And one of your favorite rock bands, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Tell me about that tweet.
So we are not going to give Trump any press time. I'm going to leave that to my friend T, who loves him, and my grandfather. I'm going to leave that to Norman Scales. He could get y'all up on Trump. I'm so grateful to not see that man on TV. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But as far as the Rolling Stones, who doesn't love the Rolling Stones? I mean, that's like not liking Prince or not liking Michael Jackson. It's just like those people are staples in music history, and I definitely love them. I know every artist has had their ups and downs. Things come out. I look at artists like U2. I love them because you've never heard anything, and I pray to God it just stays that way. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and I love the music that they put out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see where we at. Because I kind of was all over the place.
I know, especially with, girl, you got a Gemini with you, so you already know this interview was gonna just go on.
Yes, you locked and loaded. So like I say, I was looking at your social media, and you're just the overall humanitarian. You spoke out on what's her name? Breonna Taylor. Also, Jillian, the woman that was raped in the services, and then the guy. Tell me, why does speaking out on all these injustices, like you use your platform, I see you speak out more on your platform about injustices than to promote yourself, and that's big. You get what I'm saying? Because you're an actor, you're a writer, you're a producer. So most people are like, hey, I need to spread more of me, and I know you're an agent, and everybody is telling you, you have to post more, you have to post more about you. But when I scroll through your page, I'm always seeing things about others, and it's good and bad things,
True. I feel like while a lot of artists, I respect each person individually. Some artists don't like to speak out on stuff because they're like, look, I'm just here to work, that's it. And I respect that. And people should, because that's their private business. If they don't want to say anything, they don't. But I feel like when you have the platform, Chris Chambers, Mark Harris, you see, they love to promote those films. So my face is everywhere anyway.
Okay.
I feel like if I have this empty space to put somebody else at the forefront when you have that platform, it's important. I mean, and a lot of times people are like, oh, well, I only have this many followers, so it's not going to make a difference anyway. No, it does make a difference, and it shows God won't give you more until he sees what you're going to do when you have less. So whatever I can do with whatever I have right now, I'm going to do it. Even if it stays there and it just trickles to, the people I know who do have bigger platforms. Because a lot of times, like you said, they're so busy promoting themselves, stressed out, trying to stay on top of this, stay on top of that. They don't even know what's going on, but they'll hit my page and be like, I didn't even know that was happening. I got to repost that. I'm like, Jaleel White, Lil Rel, like they see stuff all the time and they're using their platform. I think because I haven't had as many projects right now, it's slower for me. It's easier for me to focus on that as well. Like a lot of the things I've been doing have been commercial based, and those things, they promote themselves, like they're everywhere. So
that's what I was just going to ask.
Yeah.
Since the pandemic, COVID, how has things been going with you and your career? What have you been working on? Have you and your family been staying vaccination. And what are your thoughts on the vaccination? We're going to talk COVID for the next couple of minutes, okay?
I would love to talk COVID with you. I feel like COVID took up all 2020. I feel like the less we talk about it, hopefully it will just disapparate in 2021. Because I'm up to here with Trump and COVID. Man, they are taking. They head in hand.
The nation by storm.
I'm talking. The world. The both of them so disrespectful. I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna say they both highly disrespectful.
And
I look forward to them.
did you say busy? Like you say, you've been working strictly from home, or have you still been traveling?
No. I hadn't been traveling per se. I mean, I went to Wisconsin for a couple of jobs, commercial jobs, but all close-based things. And then I was getting auditions for major roles, like for The Shy, for Power. I don't know if they can talk about, Power Book, y'all know it's out already, but for Power, for things like that I ended up not landing, but had me on hold anyway, where if I would have traveled and landed it, I would have put myself at risk for losing a job. So I wasn't moving as much. And then I had a regular job. I was hosting at a restaurant as well. So I was out, but I was very safe, even though I don't even want to talk about that. I'm very not happy with them. But at the end of the day, I have a slight OCD thanks to my mother and father. So when it comes to cleanliness, it's just already within me. Having to have the conversation about washing your hands properly last year for our nation, it threw me for a loop as to where, on average, most people are with their cleanliness. So, that I wasn't.
Are you getting the vaccination?
So like I said, I think we should, I think we should just lay COVID to rest. I think we should just do that.
Well, we're gonna just go ahead, throw them out the window. Out the window. So we've talked about your acting career.
Yeah.
And where it started. Let's talk about modeling.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. When did you start modeling, and where are you with that right now? Are you still modeling?
I started modeling at 14 years old, thanks to Ernest Collins, Chris Curse, and my mother, and it was incredible. My first ever gig was for Bride's Noir magazine, and I didn't know that they were not only in Paris but here and nationally here. So I went into Barnes and Noble with my friends, and we were going into the Starbucks at the time. And my friend looked over and she was like, "Man, that girl looks just like you. Like, she has your face." And I was like, that's because that's my face. That she doesn't have my face, that's me. And so like we were screaming and going crazy, and it was just the best. And I didn't anticipate it because Ernest never said anything. He wasn't like, "Well, I'm gonna submit these." He was just like, "You did a good job, kid. You did pretty good. We'll see how good it does." He's like, "But you should quit school." Hindsight, like thinking back now, I probably should have. I probably should have, or not quit, but I probably should have studied online. Like maybe COVID had it hit then, I would have been out there. But because he was telling me, get your GED online and go to Paris, pursue modeling. But at the time, I didn't have the height. I loved school. I was a real geek for school, and I was way too nervous to do that. Like I that didn't even contemplate in my mind. But after that, things just started to come in again through the Chicago grapevine, from ORS to just different companies that I was blessed to work with.
Okay, so you landed the cover of Noir. You've also been on the cover of Broom, as well as Heritage.
Yeah.
You have an impeccable resume. I mean, you were still a teenager when you landed all those covers, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So where are you now in modeling? Are you still which do you like more, acting or modeling?
Definitely at my age and just what I'm aspiring towards, I love acting. Modeling is awesome. I love coaching young girls through it. Like my young god sister Kennedy, she is one to watch. I know she'll probably end up going to school for business or something like that, but she can always model on the side. She's got the height, the body, and I want girls to see themselves more, because they just deal with so much with social media. It's like, start taking pictures of just your plain face and enjoying that moment. Because I'm telling you, when you hit your 30s, your 40s, you looking back, you're like, man, I had a great face and body back then, and I just did not appreciate. And I hope that they, are definitely putting their education first, but appreciating who they are. They're beautiful, and I'm definitely here for coaching all the time when it comes to my home.
You are an impressive lady. I love it, I love it, I love it. Let's backslide a little bit. Want to talk about the film again. So let's go back to your love, acting. You're very versatile. You've played in dramas, comedies, romance, you name it, right? What is your ideal role?
My ideal role, especially, so what I aspire towards in the next 2 years is to be on my self-written series. And it definitely follows the life of a young woman in the city pursuing her dreams and goals. But I don't know if you've ever seen Curb Your Enthusiasm. The way I've written it, it definitely has that feel, more comedy. Because I don't really let people see me like that as often. Like, all my friends and family know exactly how I am. But I've yet to be in that role, and that's where I'm aspiring towards. And then hopefully after that, securing an episodic role, like playing a wife or a counterpart to a great male actor. I know who the actor is. I don't want to say it because I don't want to jinx it, but that is where I am.
I love how you know.
My goal.
Who will be the ideal actor?
Y'all gonna have to wait and see because I will not jinx that. I'm like, look, it is not okay.
But you might just speak it into existence.
Or I might just speak some haters up, and y'all can keep doing your job. I appreciate it, but you will not get that little bit of information. I'm just like, look, I'm so superstitious.
You're beautiful. You know what I've learned? Being beautiful and intelligent and self-driven is like curses, and it's both a gift and a curse all wrapped in one.
Yeah, especially when you're a cheerleader too. It actually is a double-edged sword when you're rooting for other people or talking them through what you believe that they can do. I think a lot of the times, it's bite me.
It's weird. It be weird energy.
But I won't stop it. I still love supporting people.
I love it. I'm looking away and smiling because, baby, I have to do it. I'll be like, okay.
Yes, 24/7.
Keep on giving and keep on doing what you do.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely dark times. When I first came back to Chicago from LA, it was for a family reunion, and then there was a funeral. And then we had 3 in a 6-month span that we ended up going through. And that tore me down, and I was thinking, okay, this was a rough year. People have rough years. I'm still walking, breathing. I have nothing to complain about. Then we had 4 more the next year, and then 3 more the next year. And I didn't realize that I was going through a depressive state where I was really retracting back. And then a lot of up and down things with my family, which I love my family. Everybody has ups and downs with their family, but it played a harder toll on me than I realized, and that we don't always speak about in the Black community. So going through that,
very important.
We're still very hopeful as a community, but I don't think we, apply the necessary things to put the work behind the hope. So therapy, or just taking time to yourself, just forgiving yourself. Those things are important, and being honest about it. A lot of times, it's it's not a crutch or anything like that, but it's good to speak about so other people know that everybody goes through it. My friend has coffee, hip hop, and mental health. I know you've probably definitely heard about that. Anybody who is dealing with something, please check out that page. It's awesome. It's awesome.
I'm definitely going to check it out because I'm a big advocate of mental health.
Yeah.
I've had my own episodes, but I have a son that's battling with God knows what. It's something different every time he goes. But we're hopeful.
Yeah.
We're hopeful, and
And putting the work in, that's important.
We walk in faith, you know. We haven't gotten quite to the therapy session because
It can be difficult to find the right one, so take your time.
It's not that. It's the big elephant in the room. Many people don't think they have a problem. Many people don't think that they need to talk to someone. Many people, others feel like, hey, I don't want to share my life with a perfect stranger. You know, it's so many layers to that.
Yeah.
And
it has to be a self-driven thing, for sure.
It definitely does.
You don't want nobody to push you into it at all.
For it to work, yes, you gotta want the help. Man, I love talking to you.
Yes.
You are such a breath of fresh air.
I'm grateful to be.
But me, I like to know some things about people that others don't know.
Yes.
So let's have some fun facts.
Oh my gosh! I thought we were about to ravish.
We
about to
are.
get into
We
it,
definitely
honey.
have to wrap
Okay.
it up. But we
Oh,
want to know
boy.
some fun things about.
Some fun things about me. I'm
Yes,
ready.
Okay. So, first time you were punished, what did you do?
Oh my goodness. First time I was punished, I left out the house, went to school, and my mom was saying to me, she's like, Brit, you know, you have plenty of time before that bus comes to clean up your room. I was like, yeah, okay. I'll see you later, Mom. And I ran my little butt outside. I had to have been all of 6 years old, and the bus came, you know, the suburbs bus come right there. And so she was like, Brit, I think it would be a good idea for you to come back here and clean this room. Now, my mom didn't believe in whooping me as a child. And now looking back with good reason, I'm in an all-white school, only black kid. I can't be going to school with bruises over here, nothing like that. But no, she also spoke to me well, too. But I got home. Everything was gone. I'm talking about I had my blanket on the bed and my school stuff and the clothes on my back. And my mom was like, oh yeah, so all that stuff that you didn't put away this morning, I sent to your cousin Jasmine. So it was like, it wasn't a punishment fully, but it was the coming home to nothing in my room was like, I looked around like, first of all, how did you
Your
even have the
whole life was ruined.
I'm talking about everything, easy bake oven, my stuffed animals, my clothes, you know, the decant wine, the Carl Canine, my dad. I was looking like, oh my God, like where is everything? And she was like, oh yeah, your cousin Jasmine got it. It's her birthday coming up anyway. She deserves it more than you. I think that next time you'll put your things away. That punishment stuck with me for the rest of my life. I think that's why I have a little bit of OCD now too. Everything has a place. But she actually never did that again. She only did that once. My mom is a very sweet, loving mom, but every mother has their breaking point, and I definitely put my mom through it a few times. So yeah.
Being an actor,
Mhm.
actress, what do you do to prepare for roles? Like, how do you do your role actress?
Each one is different, right? So like I feel like the comedies, it's just a matter of getting to know your co-actors in the moment, really going through the script as many times. Like Robin Williams said it the best. He was like, read it 100 times because each time you read it, it's going to be something different. So with comedies, I feel like that works the best. Whereas the dramas, or the action ones, blocking is so important. So taking the time to block it out is really important because then your body can kind of get into the emotional state it needs to be to become familiar. So a lot more method with that one.
Okay, role. When you're getting into roles, honey, what do you do? What do you do when it's a role that's uncomfortable for you? Do you ever refuse a role? Have you ever refused a role? Or do you just go with the flow?
So to be honest, I've never refused a role. I have refused scripts though. Because if the script isn't fully thought out, or if there's something that the director, writer isn't really flexible or working with me with so that I can, bring the best performance I can, then I will respectfully step away because I don't want to misstep. There's so many times I watch myself, I'm like, oh my God, I could have done this, I could have done that. But at least I know that I was able to really work with the person on set. But I never turn down a role, and I'm never uncomfortable with anything because at the end of the day, it's not me. It's all make-believe, it's all a character, and it's just a matter of telling this character's life and story. Not even telling their story, but getting in their skin and empathizing with them, which is what I love
So
to do.
since you said that, the
Yeah.
next question is there a role that you will absolutely, positively not play?
I think anything close to like softcore porn, I'm good on that. Like, it's enough of it out. You got WAP, you got Cardi B, you got all the greats too. You know, I can't even really give you anything, you know, exciting. It's gonna be
Can
a
you
real
dance
boring
off WAP?
scene. Can I dance off one?
Yeah.
You know, in the shower when I'm by myself, 100%. I got it hands down. You know what I'm saying? But I would definitely need some choreography. I need my guy Nook to choreograph some stuff for me. As long as I got the choreography time to take, I don't mind dancing at all. But yeah.
Speaking of guys, is there one?
There's like millions and billions. Aren't there like 2.2
We're
billion
talking
men in the
special
world?
ones that, you know, may have.
The Lord Jesus Christ, 100% made. No, I'm just playing. Let me not even. I am dating someone. I am dating someone who is absolutely incredible.
Okay.
He is amazing, and I am very
So
much
you
in
are
love with
off
him.
the market. You
no,
don't have
no.
to name drop. We don't believe in name dropping. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because, you know, there do be people out there like, oh, she wearing here.
Portia. No, I'm just playing. That's not even funny because look, I actually MC Portia. Let me zip up my jacket on that because she'll probably drop kick me in my forehead. That's not even a her thing. That was the husband who was bogus. And I've said that prior. I feel like Portia's future fiance could have handled that a little bit better because she was single. Okay, at the end of the day, she put her baby daddy in his place. She was moving how she needed to move. And I feel like, you know, if you guys haven't seen Real Housewives, go check it out. I'm not going to tell the whole business, but I will say he didn't move properly. And yeah, so I appreciate the non-name dropping. But I will say that he is also a member of the industry, works full-time. He's an amazing man. I'm very grateful to have this experience with him. But I do want people to recognize that dating is an experience. And you want to make sure that not having sex with as many people as you can, but you want to date and be open. I mean, if you find that one, it does happen, go for it. Don't even think about it. Just be with them. But it's okay to date. It's okay to take your time because for me, marriage is not just about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Marriage.
So when you're dating, do you date more than one, or do you just
I-
exclusive with one?
Me personally, I believe that there is no exclusivity when you're dating. Now, if you're engaged, you have an engagement ring, or if you are planning a marriage, or when you get married, yes, you have made a commitment. That it's symbolic. It's almost like signing a contract that I am now in with you 100%. Do I understand why some people, others have this full committed situation and that's what they want? 100%. But then you have those instances where you're married for a couple years and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I met my soulmate. And that's heartbreaking for the other person. Whereas if during the dating process, you were like, oh, I met somebody else, I feel like that's easier to take than getting married or being engaged or lying about it and being conniving. It's like, just be honest and date. It's healthy to date. And it is, if that person wants to date but that doesn't work for you, it's healthy to move on and be like, I want something committed. I don't want somebody dating around. But to my ladies, I know the woman's voice is always, well, I don't want a man who only dates me. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want him to get out there and see what's out there and see what he has as opposed to what, you know, is in his face. Because
sometimes you need to not think about what other people think about
Period.
you dating multiple people.
Period.
I
That's
think
your
so
business.
often we get caught up in what others may say. If you see me with this person and you see me with that person, because they automatically draw a line. Oh, they're sleeping together. You get
they're
what I'm
doing this and
saying?
that, as opposed to, oh, that's not even my business. If I
Right.
actually had some business, I wouldn't even be worried about their business.
Go to church, girl.
And
Go
for
ahead.
and vice versa for the women, it's always the shame of dating and getting to know people, and for the men, it's always the shame of wanting to be in a commitment. It's okay. It's healthy to be in a healthy, loving situation and not have, you know, a billion STDs going around. So either way, do what's right for yourself, I think.
Well,
Yes.
girl, big shout out to our producer and owner of the show, Miss Barbara Foster, for having you again. We have been chopping it up with
Yes, we have.
my girl, Brit Scales, also known as Mahogany baby. I
Thank
love
you
the
so
name.
much.
I want to thank you so much for coming out. You know, it was
Appreciate you
a
both.
delight talking to you. Did I miss anything? What we got coming up next? What can we expect? Is it something you got coming up? Come on, girl, drop the beans.
So, as I said before, I will be working on a series. There's also another short film out called A Seasonal Thing that I'm in.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
winter themed, but it is a beautiful love story. I hope you check it out. It's really funny. And then, last but not least, my girl Adora has a new show out called Adorable Woman, and she is looking for a hostess. It was something she had asked me to possibly do. 100%, please, if you are interested, we are looking for hostess. And if you're open to being on multiple platforms, we would really love to welcome you
very,
in.
very open.
Yes!
See why I love this
So,
girl,
because we are
baby?
looking for an
I
all-woman
told you,
crew
you're the
of
network queen.
producers, hostess, everybody. So, those are the projects that I am a part of. I'm producing on that end. And stay tuned, because I am writing a series. So, yeah.
Girl, see, I told you, you are an all-around person. Writer, producer, actress, humanitarian, networking queen, law
Truth teller, 'cause I tell her,
major.
if you ask me anything, I'm gonna try to be as honest as I can be.
Like, you're a motivational speaker and you don't even know it. You speak life into the universe with your words. So just keep on being great and continue glowing, grinding and glowing. That's what I like to say.
Her, we got this. We will
Yes.
both be grinding
But
and glowing. I
until
like
next week, y'all make sure y'all go like and follow her. Where can they find you?
that. At the Brit Skills, everything is the Brit Skills. If you Google it, if you go on Instagram, if you go on Facebook, my website is britscales.com. I need some water, I guess, but britscales.com, you can check it out there. I'm also on the Rock Agency if you need to book me. Right now, I cannot take on any independent projects at this time, as I am fully committed with the Rock Agency, and I'm very grateful to have been a part of all those other independent projects prior, but moving forward, it will all be signed contracts through my agency.
Well, I also need you guys to make sure you go follow On The Scene. You can go follow On The Scene on YouTube at On The Scene Chicago, Instagram On The Scene 1, and Twitter On The Scene 1, Facebook simply On The Scene. But if you want to get in contact and you're looking to be a guest on the show, all you got to do is hit them up. On The Scene 1, number 1. I'm telling you, this is on the rise to being the number 1 show in America. You get what I'm saying? Want to know I know? Because I said it, and She Bananas does not lie, baby. Anyway, make sure y'all go follow me, Chiqueta Banana, on all platforms. And go check out my show, The Afternoon Kickback, on my Radio Chicago broadcast, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Allow me to juice up your afternoons. It's time for us to get up out of here. But before we do, you know we always got to give someone, so we got something strictly for you, baby. Thanks for being on the scene, honey.
On the scene, hashtag it. But this is fabulous.
And in the meantime, between times, like, share, follow, and tune in next week for another episode of On the Scene with Margaret Foster.
Yes, thank you guys so much.